Welcome back, students of year 8, and today we are going to explain the first lesson in unit 4, forces and motion. In the last year, in year 7, we explained lesson 1, forces, right? Or introduction to forces. And there is a small part in this lesson called the effect done by a force, right? Or the effects of a force. And there is a small effect between these 8 effects or 6 effects. There is one effect that when an object moves, so this object is in motion. When this object is in motion, we can deduce that there is a force exerted on this object. So the motion is an effect of a force. This is how we link motion and forces. So what is motion with respect to forces? It's an effect done by a force. Okay. So if someone hits a ball, the ball will start moving. So this is an effect of a force called starting. And what is this? We'll talk about it later. Or this represent what? It represent an instrument that measures the speed. Now, the speed. What is a speed in your opinion? For example, bicycles, cars and airplanes all travel at different speed. So the car and the plane and the bicycle, they moves with different speed. Speed, what is speed? Speed is the measure of how fast something is moving. So what is the speed? It's a measurement of how fast something is moving. Right? Now, how to calculate speed? There is a way to calculate speed, but what are the factors that represent the speed? So let's see. First example. In a race, the students move 1 kilometer. So there is a race. I fixed a distance 1 kilometer. I said to Ahmad and Ali to start the race. Who arrived the first he is the winner, right? So Ahmad arrived with a duration about 4 minutes, but Ali arrived with a duration about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So who is the winner? The winner is Ahmad, right? But now why Ahmad is the winner? Because he arrived with less time. So he arrived before Ali. So the factor time is very important to the speed. That's what I conclude from this example, right? So the time is linked to speed. So the time is very important factor in speed, or the duration. So who is the fastest, Ahmad or Ali? For sure is Ahmad, because he arrived before Ali. So another way of challenge. Ali and Ahmad has 5 minutes to cover a distance as much as they can. They have 5 minutes, okay? And they start the race. Ahmad, he covered in 5 minutes 1.3 kilometer, while Ali, he covered 1.1 kilometer in the 5 minutes. So who is the fastest, Ahmad or Ali? For sure Ahmad. Why? Because Ahmad, he covered 1.3 greater than the distance of Ali. So Ahmad covered 1.3 and Ali covered 1.1. If we compare these two distances, so Ahmad covered more than Ali, so Ahmad is fastest. So also the distance is an important factor with respect to the speed. Oh, there is another name of the speed called velocity. Velocity V. Okay, represented by V. So let's see. So speed depends on the distance covered and the duration of time. So you can calculate the speed by speed is equal to distance divided by time. This is the rule of the speed. So if I ask you calculate the speed, you will write this formula and you will start to solve this formula using the given. So how to calculate the speed? You will write speed is equal to distance divided by time. Now, what is the unit of the speed? The unit of the speed are meter per second or kilometer per hour. Why meter per second? Because distance in meter and time in second. So we can use meter per second. Why kilometer per hour? Because we can use distance as a kilometer and we can use time as an hour. Now, if I want to convert from meter per second to kilometer per hour, you must multiply by 3.6. So every 1 meter per second, it gives 3 kilometer per hour. It's a mistake, sorry. It's 3 kilometer per hour. Okay. Students of year 8, please, if I ask you to calculate the speed, use the triangular method. It's the easiest way of applying a rule or applying a formula. So what is S? S represents the distance. So S represents what? Distance. V represents the speed, because I said it before, speed or velocity are the same meaning. T represent time. So S distance, V speed, T time. So if I want S, I can cover S. I got V times T. So this line represent the multiplication. Okay. Now if I want T, if I want to calculate T, what if I ask you, students, I ask you in some of the exercises, I will ask you calculate the time or the duration of time covered by blah blah blah, whatever. Okay, you must cover the T time, and when you cover it, you will see S divided by V. Okay, if I want V, the speed, if I want the speed, I must cover the speed, so it gives S distance divided by time. If I want distance, S distance, it's speed times time. Okay, so now there is an application, a small application. I will solve it, and please, if you can, solve it with me at the same time and compare the answers. So before this, a car covered 225 meters in 10 seconds at a steady speed. Calculate the speed of the car in meter per second and in kilometer per hour. So what is the distance? The distance is 225 meters. What is the duration? It's 10 seconds, right? So let's solve it. Sorry. So let's use the triangular method. This is the division line, sorry, and this is the multiplication line, right? And this is S, which is distance, this is V, which is speed, and this is T, which is time. What I want, what is the question? Let's come back to the question. Calculate the speed of the car in meters. So I need the speed V. What is the symbol of the speed V? So I must cover V, right? So let's cover V. If I cover V, what remains? The remains are S divided by T. So what is the rule of V? V is equal to S divided by T. Right? What is S? It's the distance. How much is the distance? It's 225 meter. Right? Let's see. It's 225 meter. What is the time? Is 10 seconds. So 225 divided 10 seconds. So the result is 22.5. This is the unit meter per second. Is it hard? Just remove the distance and put the value of the distance, and then remove the time and put the value of the time. Is it clear? So let's solve the second problem. Or before the second problem, I must convert the speed into kilometer per hour, right? Because the question is meter per second and kilometer per hour, so I must convert into kilometer per hour. So what is the speed V? It was 22, right? 0.5 meter per second. I must convert it into kilometer per hour. What should I do? From meter per second to kilometer per hour, I must multiply 3.6. You remember? If I want every 1 meter per second is equal 3.6. If I want to convert from meter per second to kilometer per hour, I must multiply by 3.6. So let's do it using the calculator. Sorry. $22.5 times 3.6 is equal to 81. So the speed is 81 what? Kilometer per hour. Kilometer per hour. And you know this slash is per, right? So this is the first question. So let's take a break, okay? And then we are going to solve part 2. Try it by yourself. Let's see if you will know it. And if you have any problem, then wait till I solve this part. Okay? Thank you so much.